So this is keto burger, but anybody could eat this patty, and waffle burger bun. So I have some beet chips that I've made in the dehydrator, and there's some high protein guac and chips. So these I made for kebabs to try out, and I used baked potato as the binder, and it didn't work that well, I guess because I didn't put enough. But this here, that is the burger of choice today. So James going to be very happy with that. So there's the patty, and I haven't written everything out yet. You can see I filled in the important stuff. So the shiitake mushrooms, I didn't put nearly that much, so it's actually not 7 net carbs per patty. It's less, but it would be better with more. It would be more flavorful. So if you can do it, do it. And the protein, I mean, it really doesn't add very much in the way of protein, the shiitake mushrooms. So you can get, if you don't put in the shiitake mushrooms, you get around 1 net carb per patty, and just a little under, like maybe 11 or something for the protein. So it's not that much difference. So I do want to point something out though. The walnut pulp, the information that I got for the fat and stuff like that was from Google's AI. And when I looked at the fat on the walnuts themselves, the bag of walnuts, then it was very different. So I really don't know what to say about that. So Norway's War, a lot of other things in the stack here, and I put the AI doc right at the bottom. But we'll see how this goes. And James might disagree. He might say, oh, why did you put that at the bottom? I don't know.
It maybe should be on the deck.
So,
okay.
I don't know if you'll get to that. Do you want me to, like, I've put the, both of these are about the same subject. And I have put the Atlantic crossing on the top of the stack, but I don't know. We'll see if we get to it. Okay, so
you want to deal with others?
Well, we have so many other things to deal with here.
Yeah, well, it's been raining.
So
when it's rainy, we don't have deck dinners.
Yeah, I would like to get the following out of this stack and Frasier season 2, and I guess I don't really want to get Dexter out of the stack yet. I'll talk about it a little bit, but James hasn't watched the whole thing yet, so I'm going to end up watching a fair amount of it again. So, but yeah, maybe we will do the Atlantic crossing and stuff. So if I talk for a while and you eat, and then
now I'm going to have to use a fork with a burger because I don't want to be handling stuff.
I understand.
But I'm going to put these over here because we're not dealing with these two.
So what happened is yesterday I had basically that same burger, not with the mango on it though. But James really likes sweet, and I rather than having ketchup, I stuck mango on there. So whatever. And so anyway, I thought, well, he can try it and see if he likes the burger that way. So it was yesterday. I didn't have cheese on my burger either. And yesterday it was a keto burger, you know, with lots of produce on it. And recently somebody said to me, well, that they were strong, really into keto, and they said, well, you're doing keto completely differently, you know, with a lot of produce, like eating vegetables and berries and stuff like that. And yeah, because if you want to,
better as a result.
Yeah, and there's no way I could be this thin and this healthy if I wasn't actually trying to eat healthy food with keto. If you're wanting to go on a diet, and a lot of people treat keto this way. They just go on, it's like a crash diet. And boy, they love it, eating all that fat and whatever. But is it balanced? Is your diet balanced? Is it something that you could actually live with and keep eating that way? If not, then
your roller coaster.
Yeah, this is not a healthy diet for you. It's something you're gonna go on it, and then you're gonna go off, and you're gonna indulge in other ways, And you may say, "Oh, I love keto because I'm never hungry. I never have any cravings." And yeah, keto, that's really handy. But if you all of a sudden, you were on keto and you were eating like nothing but say 3 tablespoons of peanut butter a day, and then all of a sudden the next time, maybe a week later or something, oh, you're off keto and you're eating 1 kilogram of blueberries. Okay, well, your body probably wasn't getting what it needed because you were only eating 3 tablespoons of peanut butter a day, and so it forced you off of it. You did get the cravings. Not while you were on keto. You dropped out of keto and you thought, okay, well, keto is so great because I don't have any cravings. Well, you did have them, or you wouldn't have dropped out of it, right? So anyway, we'll talk about keto later. So I will point out that this waffle burger bun is keto. If you wanted to, like, if you were looking at my protein and you're like, wow, that's not a lot. Well, keep in mind I have a smoothie there, and there is the waffle protein, and that's for a whole waffle, and I'm eating 1/4 right now. So and this one today is a little less because I don't have the cream cheese in it, and actually I skimped out on the egg whites. I tried it with only 7 instead of 8, and oh no, you need 8. So I had half of my waffles stay together in the iron, and half of them went in 2 pieces. And so I looked at that and I'm like, oh, well, that'll work out. So rather than having, James wanted that kind of burger because he saw me eating that yesterday, and he's like, that looks good. And so
it looks tropical.
Yeah.
Although really the only tropical thing is mango, I think.
Yeah.
Well, peppers could be.
Yeah, well, I put, like, the bell pepper is the bottom bun and the lettuce leaf was the top bun, right? And I don't know. I think the bell pepper really works well because it holds the condiments like a little boat. So anyway, yeah.
It's healthier and typical burger bun. The waffles here, I wouldn't make a judgment about because I don't know how they're probably.
Yeah, way
but
healthy.
Typical burger bun.
Yeah, because this is lupin flour. So now you might have looked into lupin flour and went, yeah, that looks really great, really high in protein and really high in fiber. Not a lot, like you could eat this if you were on a low carb diet. You can eat this if you're on a high carb diet. It doesn't, or whatever, like it's fine. It doesn't have much carb, like, because it has the fiber, so the net carb is what you look at if you're on a keto or low carb diet. Anyway, and if you're eating carb and if you're wanting to be low fat, well, the lupin flour doesn't have hardly any fat either. So it's awesome it's like a go-to thing for any diet, really. It's great. And it has this beautiful yellow color. So I'm really sold on the stuff. I've been making all sorts of stuff with it. And if you noticed, it's in my patty. So that's lupin flour in there with the walnut pulp and walnut milk in my smoothie. And I made that myself. The Blue Jay. He just flew by. So anyway, yeah, I just lucked out. I bought this juicer for half price at the thrift store, and it wasn't an expensive price or anything really. If I'd known that the juicer was this awesome, I would have been like, oh, of course I'm gonna get this thing. But I had no idea. And when I brought it home and I'm reading, it was brand new. Some things were still in the plastic, wrapped in plastic. And I'm looking at it, had the instruction manual and stuff like that with it, which I love. instruction manuals. I love reading them. And this juicer would have needed it because it's so many parts and whatever, right? So I would have been looking at this thing, go, how do I even put this together? But how do I take it apart? Instruction manual. So anyway, yeah, I was reading the manual and it talks about different things to juice and not to juice. And one of the things not to juice was coconuts. And I'm like, who would try to do that? But I guess it takes all kinds. They're really
didn't say
hard.
Coconut flesh. They said coconut.
Coconuts. Yes, they did not say flesh. So, like, I have a problem with juicing beets. It's a killer for a juicer many a time because I buy my juicer secondhand, and I'm definitely not going to juice beets in this juicer that I bought the other day because it's so awesome. I was reading in the instruction manual and different things that you can juice with it and things that you shouldn't. There goes the blue jay again.
Yeah, it'd be like driving a Rolls Royce on a logging road.
Exactly. So, nuts. It makes nut milk. And how awesome is that? And then I can make burgers with the, or what, I can make other things with the, I got, Google's AI was recommending keto crackers that you can make with pulp, walnut pulp.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it might be good. And so I should point that out because what they were using for the binder was flax. So ground up and you let the flax gel, like with some water, and then you add it to the, in this case, the walnut pulp, and then you spread the in and out as crackers and whatever. So I could have tried that. And I could have put flax in the burger patties, and I would have preferred that. But we were given a bunch of eggs, and that put the protein up, and I'm thankful. So this works out really well, nice too. So everything happens for a reason. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, we don't
know
what's happening there.
Yeah, we've heard about it. So really weird. People do the strangest things. So.
And some of them happen right in this alley.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now that I've taken Norway's and Atlantic Crossing off, then Dexter Resurrection, the complete first season, gets top of the stack. And oh my gosh, does it ever. From me, it started out slow. So the makers of Dexter, they should not do this to their fans. Nobody should do that. They were relying on, oh, well, we know that we're getting our
fan base back.
Yeah. So they didn't worry about boring us for the first while.
It might have been the first show.
It really was. Almost the whole first episode was slow. And
it was a review, basically, right?
Well,
sort of like?
I don't know. It was coma stuff and whatever. Anyway.
Coma is not exciting.
No.
Being in hospital isn't exciting. Coma is even less exciting.
Yeah. But then there's some other things that ended up happening in this, and I honestly, as it gained momentum, I couldn't stop watching it. And that's why James missed out on quite a bit of it, because I was just glued to it. Yeah, I would total binge watch.
Instead of waiting for me to...
I couldn't wait for him. It was too good.
Sure it goes.
And there are some problems with it. I will point out, there's no way, I don't live in New York, but I have a brain, so there's no way that garbage men, I realize in New York, that's how they do the garbage pickup. So that makes sense.
In the downtown area.
But they don't empty the garbage trucks by hand. They wouldn't do that anywhere.
They showed them emptying by hand.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. So I realize that writers of Dexter, you probably live in New York and you frequent restaurants and coffee shops and whatever, but you have no idea what garbage men do, blue collar work, actual workers do. So do some research. It's not that hard. Ask a garbage man. I mean, they're on a schedule, so you might have to ask like 1 week, what do you do that? And then you'd get the answer, and then next week you ask another question, because they're actually working, unlike people who write screenplays and stuff like that. Don't work very hard. So anyway, very entertaining though. So there were some problems like that I was like, come on, do a little more research. Because, I mean, if you don't do the research, Google's AI might be writing the screenplays for us in 2 years from now or something. Rather than, if you can't do the job properly, Google's AI will figure out how to do it.
Not that they'll do it properly.
Anyway.
They're going to be horror stories, I'm telling you. Anyway.
So, there's an interesting sort of, like, there's the father and son thing. And then there's family, a focus on family here. And there's twins. An interesting thing about twins here, which I'm not going to say more about that, but I'm going to say Frasier season 2, one of the funniest episodes that we watched was the one where right away in the show they mentioned the parent trap. So I'm not really giving much away. And when you get to that, I didn't give Frasier season 2 a very high rating. I gave it a higher rating than season 1. But honestly, Frasier's son in this, Frederick, is a bad character. And worse, the actor who plays him. Not very good. And his love interest, Frederick's love interest, who has the baby, terrible. I can't stand her. I absolutely hate her. And I was going to give Frasier season 2 an even higher rating just based on that episode that I mentioned, and another one. I think it was back to back, but it was right near it. The Murder Mystery Party. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So that one I hadn't really noticed. I didn't care one way or the other about what is that woman's name? That character's name in the
black one?
Yeah.
I can't remember. 8? Does it start with 8?
I don't know. Anyway, she's what is it? Like the something of Harvard. She's something, I don't know. She's in charge of hiring and stuff. And she wanted Frasier. So anyway, she's somebody important in Harvard. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't really noticed her as an actress. I hadn't noticed her in the shows. Nothing was really interesting about her place in the show until that episode. And then I was like, yep.
She really
yeah.
And she lit up the screen.
Yeah, she sure did.
Unlike a lot of token actors that we see nowadays, she was doing an English accent. Did a great job.
She did a great job. But what really makes the show is the relationship between Frasier and his best friend. Without that, this show would totally be a clunker. But
I'm afraid.
Yep.
But his best friend, do you want to?
Oh,
say who
well,
that is?
He's an alcoholic, and he seems like a really, really lazy professor who has tenure at Harvard. And
well, that's pretty well everyone
anyway.
with tenure, with very few exceptions. Yeah.
But anyway. I mean, professors have to watch out. They were talking about it in the AI doc, how AI, these say Google's AI can tutor your kid or whatever, like, and James and I both said, teach your kid. Like, there's no real need for professors.
There's no need really.
So do the job, or you're going to be replaced. And honestly, you should be. If there's no need for it, if a computer can do it, as long as there's checks and balances to make sure that, oh yeah, the computer is actually teaching properly. And there were some problems with AI talking to children, and like, I hadn't heard about this, but apparently there was a child who, like, I guess a teenager who was depressed. Teenagers get down, and the AI told the kid, like they were chatting, and the kid and the AI, and the AI said, well, you don't owe like your parents or anybody anything.
Yeah.
So basically you don't have to stay alive for them.
And what else?
Then the AI offered to help write a suicide note. Wow. So there's some problems.
It's amazing. It didn't recommend the type of gun or a razor to be used in office.
So, but I mentioned
it sounds
that,
funny, but I think it's a true story. It's
yeah. So
awful.
I mentioned if you're keto, or if you're on some other diet where you really have to pay attention to things. But with keto, it's like, okay, here I am eating like in the upper range of the allowable carbs that I'm allowed in keto, and so that I can get the nutrients that I need. And a lot of people might not do that. But like when James was really coming back from almost death, then I was keeping track of everything. I started just pouring through nutrition texts, all sorts of information, and the library here was really helpful. They got me books from, like, one book came from Vancouver, from a Vancouver public library. And I was going through and making Excel tables, all of his nutrients that I was giving him, everything, And so with the keto, this is really not that hard for me. I've already done this sort of thing before. But a lot of the time, I have been relying on Google's AI for information, for nutrient information, stuff like that. And I realized with the walnuts, I looked at the bag and I'm like, okay, if I make walnut milk and I have walnut pulp, and here is the amount of fat in the milk, here's the amount of fat in the pulp, what has happened to the rest of the fat? If I have more fat in the walnuts to begin with, it doesn't make sense. So problems with AI. And I love chatting with Google AI. But Google's AI, but you're maybe not going to get the right information. You're not going to get the right answers. So they can go ahead and say, oh, well, your kids aren't going to be as smart as Google's AI or whatever in the future, or now,
Google
or
AI
whatever.
has got a long way to go.
Not sure about that.
I can remember first time pretty well I used it. It wasn't that long ago. Well, officially, it was official. It was telling me that Sarah McLachlan writes poetry, her lyrics.
Yeah.
And lecturing me about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a clue. And it says it's supposed to be self-learning. Like, I couldn't give it negative feedback to get it into a learning mode.
You're right. Yeah, if it's not willing to accept that, then it's not going to learn.
I kept on trying to get some sort of
it has to not have
about
bias.
talking with it. You cannot talk with it. It just lectures you. Or that's and that's not the only case.
I have good conversations with Google.
Okay.
Anyway, Lawless Oceans, this got right near the bottom of the stack because they must be really annoyed with that guy filling up their dumpster. Like every weekend. Anyway, whatever.
Is he a contractor?
I don't know. Because where is all this stuff coming from? Anyway, so...
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of
National Geographic, Lawless Ocean. It's, by the time I got to the end, I'm like, what? You got to have some sort of... He's passed the buck to someone else. He's found some information. He's like, oh, I'm going to give it to, like, some... It was some authorities of some, like, Seychelles, what's that called? Those islands?
Seychelles?
That's it.
I'm giving it French.
So, anyway, like anything's going to happen there, or, well, maybe it will, but come on. There has to be something at the end where you're like, oh, yeah, here, he saved the day, and look what he got done. Because I've sat here for 2 discs. I finally stuck this in the Blu-ray player. It played through. And I'm like, that's it? He needs to be fired. If this is all he managed to get done, Lawless Oceans, he's trying to get justice for people on Lawless. Well, if the ocean's lawless, good luck with that. And he did a really bad job. So, whatever. The following, I put the second season above the third and final season, even though
it lasted 3 seasons.
Something interesting happened in the third one. So there's the whole, in this one, in the second season, there's some twins that are introduced. So we have twins again, right? And then that plays out, and you have in this third season then Kevin Bacon's character and the guy that I can't remember. So Ryan Hardy, that's Kevin Bacon's character, and Joe Carroll, the guy he's been trying to stop, right? So there's a kind of brotherly or best friend sort of relationship there that becomes really interesting, or frenemies. Yeah, that becomes really interesting. And they should have ended it when Joe Carroll, I'm going to give a spoiler alert because these are not worth watching.
Only if you like campy stuff.
It's so bad.
I kind of missed.
It's like all the police show up, sirens going, and whatever, and lights blaring or flashing, and then everyone comes in through the front door. And we lost the criminals again because they went out the back door. Why don't we ever learn? Come on, guys. So maybe an AI wrote the script for this stuff. So anyway, they should have had the sense to end it when just after Joe Carroll was executed, and Ryan Hardy is sitting in the bar. He orders 2 drinks. He sits down. He takes a sip of his drink, and then he looks over, and what he sees there, that's where it should have ended. So stupid.
So stupid. Going. I kept finding it funny. I think I was spoiling Pauling's viewing because I kept on saying, why are they doing that?
Yep.
Cops would never do that.
Okay, so we only have 1 minute and 24 left, so I'm just going to keep going with this because you're definitely not going to get to that. So, Revtal Family. Every time I see Brendan Fraser now, in his later works, I think, such a shame. He was one of the most handsome men ever.
And I get the impression he was a nice guy.
A wonderful person. Well,
say.
Still a wonderful person, I think. And anyway, so
people can lose the weight. My mom did.
I put this above the following because who wouldn't? We kept leaving during it though. Both of us. Like, I would go find something else to do, make food or whatever. This is not uncommon for me. But then I would like be making food or like dealing with these chip things or whatever. And I'd look over and there's James, and it's like, okay, nobody's watching. The dogs might be watching.
And the thing is, there's a lot of eating food and Japanese. It wasn't like the food was turning me on.
No,
because Japanese food's some of the least.
We were talking about that. They were showing food in the show, and I was like, that.